Do you know what GMOs are?
No.
Do you think GMOs are good or do you think they're bad?
I think they're bad.
Always purchase non-GMO.
Right. What are they?
Genetically modified organisms.
Yeah, I think they're bad. They shouldn't be modified. So just leave them alone.
Most consumers don't really know what GMOs are, yet they have a very strong opinion against them. GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. Essentially, the process protects crops from disease and pests, but it's not a natural process, in turn raising some eyebrows. One expert on GMOs says an advertising scheme might be to blame.
There's a lot of fear-mongering around it, and the science says it's safe, but often competing business interests try to say that it's unsafe and suggest somehow that it's going to hurt you.
One of our local farmers agrees.
I think it's all based on fraud.
Melissa Diane Smith, author of Going Against GMOs, disagrees.
I think long and hard about what books I'm going to write, and I felt that this topic, GMOs and the pesticides that go with them, is something that has been kept from the American people.
One thing both sides do agree on is the importance for consumers to know what they are consuming. Let's take a look at how GMOs are made. For starters, there are no syringes or plastic being put into your food. Scientists adjust one gene in the crop so that it can better fight off insects or disease. It's similar to the idea of flu shots helping people fight off the flu. In Yuma, we grow 3 genetically modified crops: cotton, corn, and alfalfa hay.
GMOs are 100% safe. Not one credible piece of science has been done to prove anything otherwise.
GMOs claim to help increase the amount of crops and decrease pesticide use.
I know you're talking to farmers who have heard the biotech industry spiel about, oh, we need these to feed the planet, we need to increase yield. The research is very sketchy at best.
BOELTS disagrees.
If you talk to scientists that are intimately involved with this, if you talk to farmers who use genetically engineered crops that use pesticides, there is no question that the use of pesticides and the use of genetic engineering does increase yields.
But this idea of what some call frankenfruit is still very unsettling. Would you purchase something that says non-GMO over something that says GMO?
Yes.
People are inherently uncomfortable with changing a natural food into an unnatural food.
If it's natural, if it's organic, I mean, I know I don't have to worry about anything else going inside my body besides the food.
Going and buying non-GMO foods or organic foods, it's not a radical approach at all. It's simply wanting to get back to the food that our great-grandparents ate.
So I asked our local farmer if going back to old farming techniques would be beneficial.
There's no health benefit to going organic. That's been proven over and over again scientifically. And, you know, the idea that you're going back to the way it was, well, the way it was back then, 97% of the population grew food, and it was called subsistence farming. We all lived on the land, and we all could barely scrape out a way to make a go of things, and that's just not the case anymore.
We have 7.6 billion people on the planet today, and we have a challenge ahead of us in the next generation. How are we going to feed all these people?
As consumers, should we look closely at GMOs before jumping on what some say is a food trend?
We're a population of distracted drivers. We're watching the wrong thing, focusing on the wrong thing when there are real concerns. The real thing we should be watching is not the point that we're taking.
I used to eat raw vegetables straight out the field, so I don't think there's a big deal about any of this GMOs or organic stuff.
Whether you are for or against GMOs or like buying organic, the choices we make in the food we buy will impact the type of crops that farmers plant.
I'm a father of 4. I have grandchildren. I have a sense of responsibility not only to those 2 generations, but the generations yet to come. And I wouldn't want to see us throw good technology away today because we have the capacity to. We have the luxury of doing that today.